The sulfuric acid clouds of Venus floated beyond the window, their ochre puffs and hollows and shadows expanding and contracting as winds pulled them. The scarecrow hadn't spoken for long moments, which wasn't strange for these AIs and their secretive human souls, but this one hummed tunelessly. Lieutenant Colonel Beret had never heard one hum and didn't know what to think. The scarecrow might not even know it was doing it. The humming had overlapped with a lengthy assessment of Beret's career. A swiveling lens eye zoomed audibly on Beret. The scarecrows were designed to unsettle observers, but the humming hinted that the scarecrow might not be entirely stable, as if a parallel track of information processed in the artificial intelligence without its knowledge, as if the AI were haunted. "You performed quite satisfactorily in Epsilon Indi for the last 4 years," the scarecrow said. Her gravelly, feminine voice sounded distant, reaching from the other side of a death. The impression of femininity might be genuine, although scarecrows carried little of their identity past the death of the spies they'd once been. "Thank you," she said. This scarecrow's lines of logic seemed to follow more indirect paths than the one she'd worked with in Epsilon Indi. That vanished one had been pragmatic, focused, dogged, and rarely mysterious. This one reasoned in elliptical arcs, following multi-layered musical logic. The winds outside became ghostly sounds to those in the mid-levels of the Ministry of Intelligence. The globe building followed the winds at various altitudes, its location at any time a state secret. The scarecrow lumbered to the window, sounding of flexing piezo-ceramic musculature and carbon steel joints. Floppy gloved fingers adjusted a button on the plain carbon-weave shirt. "I appreciated your espionage findings on the puppets," the scarecrow said. Her tone was sweet and ghastly, and her accent an antique French from last century. "Your postgraduate work in biotechnology made you uniquely insightful in the field." "I could be out there again," Beret said. "I didn't apply for this promotion, and I haven't been to staff college, and I like field work." She hadn't found her rhythm in this new role in the last 3 weeks, either. It felt like an ill-fitting tunic, and even if she could go back, Epsilon Indi was different now. "The disappearance of the scarecrow is unfortunate," the spectral voice continued. Her statement didn't surprise Beret. The emotion-reading software in the interrogation suites was powerful, and they read facial expressions constantly, especially their own people. One became accustomed to feeling exposed. "I should be continuing his work," Beret said. "That would be a waste," she said with a flat, definitive tone that belied the winsome and flighty feel in the humming. "Your 3 years under the Epsilon Indi scarecrow were testing." "What kind of testing?" "The kind of testing that never relents." That was a euphemism about the living Venus, the kind of things grandmothers say as they tuck children into bed during bucking winds. "Your new posting," the scarecrow finally said. "Is it good?" Upon her transfer back to Venus, Beret had been installed at the head of a new division in the Future Threats branch of the analysis sector. "It feels like a desk job." The second lens whirred and zoomed onto Beret. The mouth on the metal cloth had been painted uneven and expressionless, but the humming and the higher register of the voice gave it some illusory implied motion, another scarecrow trick of psychology. "You've been given policy influence here, and the ability to task units in the field," the scarecrow said. The humming tune on some other channel slipped its way under the AI's answer, lonely, lost. We know we want you, but our wanting only goes so far. At some point, you need to want it